What's good, everybody? This is Y and Z, a conversation between the generations Y and Z. I represent the Y in this equation, better known as the millennials. Jay Clark is the name. The other half, Gen Z, represented by the young boy over there, Xavier D. Lewis. How are you this week, my brother?
Hey man, we're doing well. We're doing well. Temperatures are still hot. If you're in New Orleans like I am, we just
Bruh,
trying to hope we can run up on one of them boys so we can get that $20,000 bounty.
okay. One, that heat wave that done hit this week with these. Whew,
Bruh, that heat wave ain't no joke. It's still kind of fairly cloudy down here in New Orleans. So like we got the clouds, but it's still humid, bruh. It's so humid, bruh.
it was the final week of my son's little league team.
Oh,
Kids was quitting on the field, and I'm coaching toddlers 4 to 6. They was like, "No,
tired of this,
I,
grandpa.
are we done yet? Why? It's hot. I just want to go home." And I'm just like, it's the last game. Hey,
Let's
we just gonna push through. And then yeah, if I was you, I'm out because then somebody catch one of the guys on a bench somewhere
Bruh,
and just make the call
on a bus bench,
on the
bro.
bus bench,
That's so
bro.
funny,
If I'm in your area right now, I'm just walking around.
bro. I'm just trying to get that twenty thousand
I,
dollars
all I need
because
to do is
they are obviously not the brightest cookies in the prison
they
pack.
not they really not, and I'm be out there like Pokemon, but I don't need to
Which
catch them all. I just need me one, but I'm be out
I
there.
need is what,
All I need is one, but I'm be out
bruh.
there.
It's so funny because I'm in my head like, man, the way they getting caught. Oh, they obviously had some
Oh,
help from somebody working at the jail, bro. Because
they
no
had
way.
they had help at the jail, but then how your first inclination is to go home and get fresh and not like clean, shave, cut my hair, change my appearance so motherfuckers don't recognize me instantly, kind of fresh. No, no, he
Nah.
wanted that drip, and so he got dripped out.
That was so stupid, bro. The first one got caught at a hotel in downtown New Orleans, like they ain't got CCTV. Huh?
Bro,
Huh?
I'd be in them swamps.
Swamps, forget the swamps. Man, the time period from them escaping to when they found out, man, I
Uh,
would have been in some backwoods, Mississippi, straight up I-55. It's crazy how they're catching them in New Orleans. That's what's still blowing me. You're still in New Orleans?
too easy to get out, but also not not smart enough to figure out how not to stay out. But we're gonna see. We're gonna see who else gets caught. Because yeah, I'm watching like, okay, y'all got four.
Hey, bro, what the rest there?
hey, please, hey, somebody want to migrate over to Houston, southern side of the city, and want to get caught. We can work something out, bro. Yeah, I'll take you for McDouble and some cheese or whatever.
Boy,
I'll
you
hook you up
crazy.
and then just let me make that call. Anyway, like, share, subscribe. We're going to have some fun this week. Once again, shout out to all the graduates, Scholar and Black. Continue to enjoy graduation season, even though if we are questioning some of your degrees because
We
chat
are.
GPT. Anywho, fun this week. Caught a crazy take on Twitter, again, as usual. And I was like, yep, we're just going to talk about it. Somebody said the fall off of R&B is crazy, man. That
Yeah.
started the conversation. And then somebody responded, every 3 days y'all say R&B fell off. And what y'all mean is y'all don't listen to the R&B unless it comes on the radio. There are several R&B artists that don't get the praise they deserve for dropping good music. So we're going to just tackle this in a couple different ways and have a discussion with the ways at this point. And first of all, what I just got, young blood, I'll throw it to your whichever way you want to go first before I just go old man on the lawn real quick.
Yeah. I think we start off with like the original tweet, right? Like the fall off of R&B is crazy, man. I mean, I think that's still a legitimate tweet. I think the fall off of R&B is, kind of crazy to see, and the fall of R&B, the rise of hip hop. It's crazy to think that that's where things were gonna go, but it has. I guess in a
No,
sense, you think I think it is only because you think like what R&B is and what it should mean to people versus what's actually being executed.
what it was is what it was. And that's why we believe that. And then you had the new kid come in town. We talked about this last week real quick with hip hop. Hip hop became the new kid in town, and so
Yeah,
R&B lost its luster. Like it's not crazy. People stopped innovating in R&B. Let's put it that way.
yeah.
But continue on, sir. Continue on.
Yeah, yeah, but then then you get to the retweet. Every 3 days, y'all say R&B fell off, and what y'all mean is y'all don't listen to R&B unless it comes on the radio. Just take a quick pause there. A lot of Gen Zers aren't listening to the radio anyway, but we're gonna keep going. They don't listen to the radio anyway.
That's the
But
problem.
correct, correct. Um, but no, I mean I agree. I partially agree with the retweet because this is also thinking that all R&B artists are making good music.
Oh no, it's not saying all R&B artists are making good music. What it is putting the onus on, and it's again the audience. It's as you put, it's putting the onus on people aren't listening to it, people aren't finding it, which I think is a crock of bull for the simple explanation of we are eating at the buffet right now. And let me see if you know about this as a kid. The Pizza Hut buffet. You know anything about the Pizza
Yeah,
Hut?
man. Who don't know about that Pizza Hut
Okay, that
buffet, bro?
classic Pizza Hut buffet. A buffet with a good variety of options, but not like overly expansive to where you're like, oh my God, there's so much here to try. No, you knew what was there, what was to be expected to be there, maybe a one or two craziness,
Right.
but you knew what was good, you knew it was classic, you knew what you're gonna get.
Right.
The buffet now is literally Vegas. You ever been to a Vegas buffet?
It's so much.
So
It's so much within
much.
each food genre.
So much that you can't consume it all. You
No.
want to, but you can't. And that's literally the problem in a lot of our I guess this isn't just a music problem. This is
No, 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 no.
everything. Whereas it used to be, yeah, I could sample everything at the buffet, a la the Pizza Hut, a couple times if I need to, decide if something is good. And so then know, okay, these are the things that we have decided is good due to multiple repetition, experience, time with, and a lot of other people have correlated that we decide these things are good. Versus a Vegas buffet, it's just like,
It's humanly impossible.
it's humanly impossible to try everything in multiples enough to be able to determine that that's good. Now, the only fallacy here is that, yeah, most of the food in a Vegas buffet is pretty damn good. So you're hitting good wherever you go. So you're not going to miss. Unlike the music industry, not everything is good. It's a lot of hit and miss. And unfortunately, what helps make music really good is when we can all spend time with it and agree that it's good. But there's people are being waterboarded with too much. Too damn
Yeah.
news, too much. Every
Yeah.
Spotify playlist, for the top Spotify playlist for R&B music changes out the top 25 songs every week. Every week. And it might be even more than that. So you're getting 25 to 50 new R&B, just R&B songs every week. And do you want folks to sit with stuff to determine if something is good to find it? Hell no. We all can't. It's no longer just on the audience, man. Like that's the thing. That's the one thing that pissed me off here. It's no longer just on the audience.
Correct. Correct. I agree with that. I think a lot of the blame is going to the audience saying that the audience is not as, hardcore, die hard R&B like the audience used to be. But then just like you said, how can you expect people to consume that much intake? You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like that's just it's too much. If you really do come across something great that you love, then you'll gravitate to that more than the mindset of trying to find something else new. Because you like, well, it took me this long to find this. I'm gonna just stick in this wave right here.
Yeah,
So it is. I think it's very cheap to try to put blame on the audience. I think it's just like a cheap move. I think, you'll get, oh yeah, you're right. You'll get a lot of agreement or something like that from that kind of statement. But I think it just isn't a strong statement anymore, trying to blame thing on the audience when the real problem, and like we've talked about before, is the industry. What the industry has deemed to be acceptable and normal, that's the problem, not the consumers. The consumers, this is just kind of what we're getting.
because yeah, I think we used to blame the audience, and the audience used to have some culpability. Like 2010s, yes, audience had some culpability. But now, as we've seen, the time has come, as more time has passed, and I think especially with some of the recent stuff we've gotten lately, some folk, which is I think we want to focus on the back end of this conversation. When you talk about there are artists that are dropping good music that don't get the praise. True, because there's too many damn. We all can't correlate around who are the ones.
Right.
And what is further shown that there's a problem with the industry, as you said, is some of the ones who we semi have a correlation with, aka your Victoria Monets, for example.
Right, right.
When Victoria Monet drops the project that she did and has success with a single like On My Mama that she did, and it doesn't really go much further than just that, that's when you know the industry has a problem.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so what we're going to talk about is some of the ones who we really enjoy right now, who are some of the ones dropping some good music. But unfortunately, yeah, it's part of the problem is, well, it'll be interesting to see if we have any doubles, simply because it's very much so, once again, personalated in your experience, what you're listening to and who you're coming across. And again, this buffet is so damn huge. We
so
could be
huge,
in two
bro.
different sections.
It's put too much segmentation, right?
Yeah.
So you know, like segmentation has always just been so interesting, right? You start off hot and cold, but then you get hot, cold, cool, warm. So now you got 4 different segments. Then you can break each of those segments up into 4 different segments. It's too much segmentation, and people are not realizing how much they have common interest between each other in music taste because you are so specific about, you know what? I prefer my fried chicken fried in canola oil rather than vegetable oil. It's still fried chicken.
Yeah. At the end of the day. So let's go into this and have some fun. It'll be interesting to see where some of this goes, just because it'll be interesting. We just gonna see how many we get through. Just some of the folk we really enjoy who are current era.
Yeah.
Current era. And by current, we're gonna say about 2015 on for now.
Okay. I can do that. I can do 2015. Yeah.
Where are you going, sir? Please don't bring no trash to this playlist, because this is a joint playlist here. Don't bring no trash.
I'm sorry. Like, I think doing an amazing job in the R&B industry today, that is her. Her is doing a fantastic job to me. She emulates a lot of R&B characteristics. You know, she plays instruments, good lyricism, great melodies, good stuff like that. I'm gonna put her in there. I think she's steady rounding out her music career, and I don't think she's really hit that rocket just yet. But I think, and fingers crossed, is gonna be somewhere in the near future.
Okay. Please understand the dynamic role I'm going to try and inhabit in this case. Because one, I do love R&B and I enjoy R&B. But yes, you should know I think this current era is dumpster fire trash. And
which is why we have to work with what we got right now.
Which is part of the reason why I agree. But I have an issue with the fact that her is a great example of where we are right now. Her is probably one of those names where, in a mass appeal, you ask people, and on that mainstream, well, who do you know of in R&B, or who are some of the bigger names? You would think her is there because of the way she's broken through on some way, shapes, or forms. The problem with her is, with a lot of these people, the catalog doesn't support that in the way that we think of other artists. And that's I'm not sitting here calling hers catalog trash. There's a couple songs, one or two, that you're like, but there's no like project where it's like, oh yeah, I got my cut. So like on a mass appeal too. And that's one of the bigger problems. It's like, yes, her, I agree. But it's just like, and how much more time does she need?
Yeah.
Cause she's been writing and she's been in the game for a long time. 07. Her artistry side of things, let's talk about this.
Started when?
2015, 2016. Really, with that, I used to know her that
Yeah,
that
yeah.
debut EP type of thing. Okay, so one, that's my problem. It's a bunch of EPs. She doesn't really have a true album that you know
Yes,
her for,
yeah,
and
that's true.
she's been in the game for almost a decade now as an artist. Y'all got to let some folks go. You're still waiting on an artist who's been in the game for 10 years to
Yes,
try and
yes, I
pop.
am.
And
Yes,
she's
I
one
am.
of the leading. Like, I have issues. Issues. But I do enjoy her. Like, yes, but that's like if we in the 2000s, we still wait let's just take 2005, and we're waiting from somebody who dropped in 1995 pop off, and we're still going to call them a top artist. Issues. But good,
Yeah.
but good selection. Good select. I mean, good selection.
Who you about to go with?
Sucks. This really sucks. Probably one of the names you'd probably associate in the upper realms, I guess, is one of the more known people right now leading the charge. Well, again, is another example of somebody we've been waiting on forever. I would say is I enjoy some of Pink Sweat stuff. Um, he's got a couple that I've added to my playlist in my library. And to me, that's a high mark for me to be like, that's a song I want to listen to over and over and over again. Specifically, his duet with Tori Kelly comes to mind, The Real Thing.
Yeah.
That's a great little love song, which y'all really don't have a lot of.
We don't.
But yeah, so who's another artist that you think people need to dive
Can
in?
we count him? Even I feel like he really moved to upper echelon post 2015. So I hope I can count this person. I'm talking about Christopher Brown.
No.
Yes, we can. He moved into upper echelons of R&B
Okay,
music after
no,
2015.
because number one, if there's anybody who's going to get the credit in this era, it's going to be a Chris Brown. Like that's Chris Brown's an established artist. Like
Correct.
he's going to get the praise, even though he's not really dropping that great of music. I know. So no, that's a legacy artist right there. No,
No, it's
still in
not.
the game for far too damn long.
Now, if I would have
It's
said
not.
Usher or Trey Songz,
Chris is worse than Trey. No, they're really about the same time. Same thing. Same time.
I'm not saying
Trey's at least gone. Chris is worse than Trey.
okay.
Trey is still hanging
Okay.
around. That's
Let
part of
me
the problem with your era. Like literally, again, same correlation. That's like saying it's the year 2005, and we're going to say Freddie Jackson
Oh.
is still the number one R&B artist. Big O, right? Peabo Bryson, still the number one artist in 2005.
Let me think. I gotta throw the other big
El
problem.
DeBarge, still number one.
I gotta throw the big other problem child out there. I named the first one. I'm gonna throw the other one out there, and I think you know who I'm gonna say. And this might like make you pull out your beard here. I'm gonna say SZA. Think about what we have, and unfortunately, for what we have, her and SZA will be considered top R&B artists for
SZA,
this day and age.
SZA is your best representation of a top R&B artist. She's mainstream. Congrats, y'all got one. And a lot of people don't necessarily agree that the stuff is all that great. Anywho, and that's your shining light for today's era of R&B. And the question posed was people who aren't getting praise. I can't count SZA in that.
Oh, because SZA is getting the praise.
Getting the praise. Give me somebody who folks don't. Gen Z, here we go. Gen Z, this your era, sir. Put Unk on. Let me put Unk on to somebody.
That ain't getting the praise.
Put on to
You
something.
are right. I don't know, man. Let me go through let me just
Come on,
scroll through
pick up
here.
something. Pick up something. Let's,
I mean, I don't know if I want to put this person in there because of his past comments, and I think that's more so what kind of took him off. I was gonna say Daniel Caesar, but he did some stuff with some fans that kind of threw people off to him.
Daniel Caesar is again, though, probably a
Would you consider him praised?
yes, because he dropped a what I think we appropriately can call a classic album for its time. It's one of the few that a lot of folk will have that consensus that this was something. So
How do you feel about?
is it fair to say that Daniel Caesar is the closest we've gotten to a crooner for your era?
I put Brent Faiyaz in that mix. I don't know if he get enough praise. I enjoy some of Brent music. I'm not gonna say I didn't sat here and just digested a full album of great music from Brent, but I think he has some good songs.
You're failing at this, nephew. Let
Um,
Unc put you on to something. All right,
who?
there's a new artist. Shout out to Jersey, since I am a Jersey boy. She putting in some work.
Who?
Goes by the name of Honey Baby.
No, no.
Exactly. Not getting praise. Now, the baby is spelled BXBY. I can't explain it to you. She shares a similar story that a lot of R&B starlets, shall we say, or some, shall we say, have being a former entertainer of the stage and whole, apparently. She may still engage in that, but I don't know. But she's a young little woman from Jersey coming up for her R&B career. Randomly chose to press play on a joint because I saw Busta Rhymes was featured on a song. Okay, that's how you're gonna get me to check it out. And I found a couple tracks of hers that I do enjoy as some decent R&B that gives me some of that late 90s, 2000s feel, but also contemporary too. I enjoy it. Honey Baby, check her out. Let me put you on to something. Now, can you do the same?
Sir. Do you listen to Sir? I love
I have
Sir.
listened to Sir. I've listened to Sir. It's okay. There's nothing that's grabbed me like I've added to my
Oh,
playlist.
unfortunately, there are about two. There are two good songs that have grabbed my attention. I gotta keep going through his catalog because I just haven't listened through all of it yet.
Mm-hmm.
But nothing even matters. And
Is that the cover? Is that the cover? That one of them, is that a sad cover of D'Angelo and Lauryn Hill's track?
uh
No, it's not. Okay.
uh nothing even matters. And you can't save me. That joint is so good, bro. Shout out to Forever on Netflix. That show had such a great Gen Z soundtrack for songs that have lit our Gen Z lives on fire since we were teenagers. You need to watch Forever on
I
Netflix. That's what
haven't.
I'm gonna put you on.
I haven't watched it yet. I want. It's in the list. One of those married people problems, kids, and just time is.
Yeah, you'll look at it
It's
from a
one.
different lens than me.
Well,
You'll look
no,
at it.
I'm looking. I'm actually okay. We'll put a pause here. I'm actually looking forward to watching it for Wood Harris's character because I've heard the great things and being found. So yeah, I'm actually looking, which is crazy because I had to thought. Yeah, there was a day, one day is I used to look at these types of things like, oh, that's the love story I want to have, or that's the love
Yeah.
story ahead of me. No. I'm past that. I'm not like, okay.
Now
Yeah,
you looking at the
what's that
parental
father role?
roles.
What's that father role? Okay, for let me prepare for how when my son get into this, but
Yeah.
let me see how he doing this, So yeah, I'm actually looking forward to seeing it.
Bro, that's so good. That's a different conversation for a different day about how your roles just switch in life. That's a good conversation.
man, that's a different conversation. But let's push replay on this back to our original conversation of where is the good R&B? Where is it? And
I mean,
I think we're waiting because here's the thing: there are plenty of artists in this space where they drop that project. I'm talking about
yeah.
there are several who are ready to capture it. It's the ones we've been waiting for. Your Chloe's, your
Money long,
Coco, all these
money
names.
long.
Yeah, Money Long. Although the last project was decent, but it wasn't.
It wasn't.
It wasn't. But again,
Yeah, yeah.
I'm
We understand what that means.
because unfortunately, you know what that means. If they do that album, that means they have hit an exceptionally high mark because we see even with a pretty good album, a la I'd say Money's is a decent. Victoria Monet's was pretty good.
Yeah.
Still didn't hit that level. So if something hit that level, yeah, that means it's going to be something like. And no, I'm
Yeah.
not talking SZA and whoever somehow the pathetic state of R&B keeping that soul album number like on the charts for so long. That's sad. If y'all need that
So
one,
funny.
y'all can have it. But that's certainly going to be like, yeah, we don't want you in the party. There's something special, but we're in the wrong way about you. Anywho, yeah, you give me the one. That's because if we get an album like that again, yeah, that's going to be a serious thing to be able to hit all
Yeah.
these different touch points, which is part of the problem. But yeah, who are some of y'all people that y'all really listening to? Who are and here's the problem: a bunch of people gonna have some names. I'm not gonna find a lot probably that's really gonna keep my attention. I think a lot of people are under the
No,
misconception that a lot of the stuff being produced is better than what it actually is. I'll say it. I'll say it.
I agree. I
There's
mean,
some good
'cause
stuff being made.
I'm just going through like my albums right now. Let me see. I mean, you put me on them, but they're not like R&B. I guess they would be considered country.
Warren Treaty.
Yeah.
See, most of the stuff that I'm finding I enjoy now, or finding that's really catching my ear, is coming from elsewhere. But Warren Treaty is a great example of having roots in soul and blues, and
Yeah.
yeah,
Great example.
yeah,
Great example.
yeah. But that's yeah. That's,
I mean, honestly, it's a new and upcoming girls group called Flow. They're pretty straight.
I've
Um,
heard them, seen them. It's like okay,
they're pretty straight. They got some. I think they're very talented. I don't think that's the issue there. I think the issue is like branding maybe and trying to
it's
catch the audience attention
yeah.
and stuff.
Again, it's not necessarily at the on the artist at this point wholly. It's not on the audience. A lot of it is the industry because again, I think there has been some good stuff released. There has been some
Right.
stuff released lately that's had me surprised it
Oh,
hasn't done more or gone further, which is part of why I'm like, yeah, it's no longer strictly on artists and the audience anymore. Like there's something wrong here when you've had some good projects come out, some good things drop, some things that should have made some noise. I'm not talking about classic noise. I'm not talking
nah.
like all time great noise, but some like, okay, yeah, this is a good thing. It's going to stick around for a minute. And they haven't, which means we have an industry problem.
Yeah. Samo, I love Samo. Samo is, but he tiptoes on that line of gospel, R&B, soul. But if we being real though, is that not what previous R&B artists used to do? Some
Well,
of them had the ability to walk that tiptoed line.
again, we have an industry problem. I remember the days, which is partly what the early 2000s. You had gospel mainstream in a way that had never been before, thanks to like Kirk, Diamond,
Yes.
Yolanda, Mary, and them tracks were getting played right alongside the contemporary R&B at the time.
Sure
There is
was.
we it's like you said, we are so siloed now with some of these ways things are being defined that we're not letting the cousins play with one another. And the
Yes.
cousins playing, which really makes things the best. Like it's the cousins and the different dynamics. When you really go back, which we might have to one point, and look at some of the top weeks and stuff back in the day, when you see the varying sonics, especially with R&B, like oh yeah, you had different types of R&B being recognized as mainstream hits and stuff.
Yeah.
That's what we need. It don't all need to be the same thing.
No. It
No.
don't all need to be Seasonese. And when you not kind of like understand what she's saying. Like we can't have everything in the top 10 sounding like that. And you listening to the song, like, hold on, let me look up the lyrics because I don't know what they saying. All the R&B can't be that. It can't all be lo-fi. I'm depressed into my dark room. It can't be that. Why can't we have upbeat R&B feel good music like Jill Scott was making when she made Golden? I want to go out there and bump my R&B while I let the sun hit my chocolate skin.
But then if you needed that down in the dumps, you could turn around and you had Music Soul Child with Half
Right there
Crazy
on the
right there
same top
on the same type of
10.
lane. Or you could go Ashanti Rain on Me if you wanted a little more down. But then if you wanted that, upbeat, you go a little Beyonce.
Right? We had diversity. We were a true society. We were a true society, which is why my playlist is filled with a lot of throwbacks.
Like I said, I don't want to just shit on it for the shitting on it. Like I had there's a slight glimmer of hope, but unfortunately, because of
I'm sorry,
where
I
I
just want to be
realized the problem
nosy.
is, uh-huh,
I want to be nosy. Let's see what the top 10 R&B songs are right now.
right? Oh, you gonna be messy. Top 10 R&B this week. Let's see here. Let's see here. Oh, you're not even gonna get okay. Mutt by Leon Thomas is up there.
Okay, Leon, that should have been a name we had
I
left.
like Leon as an artist. I'm waiting for the project from Leon. I'm not the biggest
Yes.
fan of Mutt. I'm not the biggest fan of Mutt. It's
Yeah, I agree with that. I'm not even gonna hold
here's the problem. It's mostly rap on the chart.
you. You like that?
On the hip hop and R&B on the hip hop and R&B chart.
That's crazy.
Shake It to the Max by Molly and Silent Addy. Nokia
Yep.
by Drake. Mutt by Leon Thomas. Hairdresser by Sky Newman. Timeless by Weekend, Playboy Cardi. All the Stars, Kendrick Lamar and SZA. Not Like Us, Kendrick Lamar. Luther, Kendrick Lamar and SZA. Dark Thoughts, Little Tecca. Denial is a River by Doechii. Again, hip hop
Hip
is
hop.
the problem.
Hip hop is ruined.
It's also
Yeah.
the streaming, the fact that you got the same artist on there multiple times. It's a problem. But let's just see. What are some of if I go to the hot R&B songs, we have Timeless by The Weeknd and Playboy Cardi. That's a boo. That's a boo, and I can't see the rest of the chart because they want me to subscribe, and I ain't paying for that
Listen,
shit.
I
But
should
yeah,
have just chat GPT this. Let me just chat. Hey, chat GPT.
let's see. We got Push to Start by Tyler. That's number 11. Promiscuous by Nelly Furtado is at number 12.
Promiscuous. As a promiscuous girl.
Blinding Lights by The Weeknd is up here. Crazy in Love by Beyonce.
Still?
See, here's half the problem. Y'all don't really know what is current because y'all got so much past stuff that y'all. Pink and White by Frank Ocean is number 24. Lost by Frank Ocean is 25. This is the top 40 for R&B and hip hop. And at number 25, you got stuff that's over 10 years old. Y'all are sad. Like it's a sad scene. Again,
That's crazy. Oh my God.
hmm,
Promiscuous though?
right,
I'm still stuck
right,
on that.
right. That's some 2 spots away from being a top 10 hit currently on the R&B and hip hop chart.
Right.
Anywho, it's Y and Z conversation between the generations. Like, share, and subscribe. I am glad I am not a member of this generation. I'm glad I experienced how things were in the before times because they were the better times. Um,
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think there's anything else to say after that conversation.
Peace. Good stuff.